9 people in a minivan and you still want to go back and do that, it's gotta be a certain kind of stupid.
Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Belgian Jasper. If this is your first time in the channel, hit subscribe right now.
I've been known as a traveler, everywhere I go, wherever the space.
Henrik, thank you so much for your time today. I really was looking forward to this. Good to talk to you again. It's been a while. We saw each other at the Hell's Heroes Festival, and a lot has happened. You've crisscrossed the States a few more times since then. Iron Maiden in the 80s, a big example of you guys had to tour the States several times and play hundreds of shows to break that country. Do you feel as tired as Steve Harris did in the mid-80s now?
I was definitely really tired when I got home in, was it November, after the Hellfire tour this fall? But yeah, we're already planning to go back, so I don't know, I think the determination is there.
Yeah.
There's something brewing over there, I think. Obviously, you hit a few duds when you tour, but in general, it's good. It's really, really good to be over in North America. I believe in it. Let's leave it at that. Like, I believe in it.
If you want to make that thing that is brewing in the States truly boil over, you have to tour, and not just New York and not just Los Angeles, but there's 1,000 smaller towns in the Midwest that you have to go through. That's interesting to see that is still so much a reality.
Yeah, and that's kind of like my main driving force with music is the touring. It's getting to go up on stage and, you know, play for 45 minutes across the world in the middle of nowhere and have 100, 150 people walking out to it, and it's like, that's what dreams are made of. You know, it's still, I thought I would be tired of touring by now, but as soon as I come home, I live in the middle of nowhere out in the countryside, and it's like, it's so good for 2, 3, maybe 4 weeks, and then it's like, when are we leaving next time? Oh man, it's gonna be an entire month until next show. Man, what's going on here? I think on a personal level, I need the contrast. But as a band, it's like you can present everything online to appear to be something, but actually getting to communicate what you're all about on a stage live, that's where it happens. That's where people are having the best times. Some people, if you're an introvert, it's probably perhaps good to stay at home and be able to watch this on the computer. But most people, when they come out and get out of their shell and just go hot rocking, it's wonderful, man.
Life on the road brings nostalgia and melancholy as well, and we see that now beautifully translated into your single, The Traveler, where we are obviously also, you know, given a lot of behind-the-scenes footage of the traveling. Not the most stereotypical screamer song for people to get introduced to a band or to your band, but is that a direct result of really living on the road in 2022? Like, this was a crazy year touring-wise for you guys. Did it just, quote-unquote, feel like the right song?
Yeah, it does. I think song itself we thought it was good, but then adding the vibe or the mood to the song, we had Kyle McNeil from Seven Sisters helping us out with the synthesizers, because we don't do that. We have like Hammond organs, and we have, how do you say it, synthesizer way back in the mix to give like a filling out for a studio album, but when we explained like this is what we're going for, he communicated that besides some the singing and the Dejan's old riff, he had an idea with it. He had been having an idea about that for a couple of years, but it never never really got anywhere. And that's like, okay, yeah, this is. I actually had the first draft or rough mix of that when I drove from here in the south up to Stockholm to go for my embassy meeting to get the visas for the first US tour we did this year. Then I wrote to the guys like, yeah, I've been listening to this song now for 6 hours. This is 100% freedom and what it's all about. So I think, at least for me on a personal level, we managed to communicate every highway touring vibe with that song. Because it is like, this time in the US, we had like a 30-hour drive between shows. It's like,
yeah.
And still you want to go back and do that? 9 people in a minivan and you still want to go back and do that? It's gotta be a certain kind of stupid, I guess. But it's a lot of emotions in touring, and I love it.
Like, where Screamer, tends to be a little bit more, Kill the King Rainbow. Traveler is a little bit more like mid-80s Rainbow, if you will. Slightly different vibe. Same band, same energy, but a bit of a different delivery or a different feel, if you will. Is Rainbow a band that's been important for the bands of influence, or am I just completely off now?
No, I think it's super important for Andreas vocal-wise and everyone in the band, I guess. Dio is number one, or if not number one, at least top 2. And guitar-wise for John and Dejan. Yeah. Drumming-wise for me, I'm not good enough to say that I can play all the Rainbow stuff. But yeah, it is important. It is important. And yeah, it's a good comparison like to the going from the 70s to like the mid 80s. And like the song The Traveler is very typical Screamer song at the same time as it is not. We have like from Phoenix, from the second album, we have No Sleep Till Hamilton. You could basically get the same vibe out of that song because it's not something new, but it's definitely more hard rocking than heavy metal, but it does not set that direction that now we're only going to do songs like that, because we want a dynamic listening experience. That's what we're going for. You've heard the album, obviously, so you understand. It's like, we want to kick up, go down, mellow things out, with the Traveler, start reflecting a bit on song number 3, and then you go away with has to be a journey for the listener as well.
Exactly, and that journey is not to make all the listeners feel, or all the fans watching this video before they get a chance to listen to the full album, relax. It's not full Whitesnake that went from heavy rocking to to a lot of hair product and singing off balance. Although
I don't have enough hair for hair products.
We obviously know you as the drummer of the band, but you do so much more behind the scenes for the band. You are, you do management, tour management. You're heavily involved. For you, forget about having to sit in very tiny seats and vans that don't have legroom and what have you. But that oversight piece or that organizational piece, is that for you something that is as exciting as playing the music? Because we see very different. Like, there's some people that say, like, actually, that's what I love to do. Kind of like the whole management. Yes, I also play. And then there's people that go like, kind of grew out of necessity or because I started the band, but I would prefer to just play. What's that for you?
Oh, I know if I need to get stuff done, then I have to do it myself with a lot of things. Not that other guys in the band are not helping out, but if it's like big stuff, and these days it's supposed okay, I have the most experience. I've worked with other bands and other projects with this, but it's the more time you spend on the road, you realize that if you don't know what's going on during the days, for a lot of people that's way more stressful than being stopped by some border patrol with automatic rifles pointed at your face. Then it's like, I don't know where we are, I don't know where we're going, I don't know anything, nobody's telling me anything.
Yeah.
That is more stressful than the horrific scenario I just painted earlier. So I think, and if I think it's fun, yeah, I really do like a lot of the interactions. You get to know not just the fans coming out to shows, but you actually get to meet the organization teams, and I'm really impressed with a lot of that. It's like Sabaton, for instance, far from my favorite band, but man, if there's an interview with Per Sundström and the bass player about everything besides the music, Sabaton is like, oh man, I love this guy, this is such a role model, this is amazing. Because he besides the obvious music, like he built he's an entrepreneur, and it's an entrepreneur in a field that where it's interesting. So yeah, I think it's fun, but I don't know if I would like to do it full time.
Right.
But it's fun. And now finally I'm not doing the booking anymore, at least. So that's the worst part about being in a band. So if I don't have to do the booking, then it's like, yeah, I can do whatever. I can do everything.
These songs were ready a year ago or something like that. You're probably now in the process of getting reacquainted with some of these songs. But it means that you're full, especially you, with everything that we just talked about. Your mind is probably about all the ways that you're going to be promoting this album and taking it on the road. So what can you share with, what should the fans keep their eyes open for at this point with Screamer in 2023?
Euro tour in April. For Sweden, we're doing like a few shows. Hopefully around Muscle Rock we get to do a tour as well, but we don't really know. Summer festivals in Europe, and the clear intent and plan, we will cross the pond again for the fall. But this time we will focus will be on the East Coast, because yeah, we only made it to Chicago this time. And we have a lot of special people. We've been to Eastern Canada a lot. I think we've been there 4 or 5 times. It's like when we announced both these tours, and on every post people come like, why no Quebec? Why no Quebec? Why no Quebec? It's like, yeah, we're coming back to Quebec as well. So that will be the focus for 2023. We have plans, but we obviously the album release tour in April, that's set in stone and will happen, but we haven't announced it yet, so I don't know how much you can say. But we will be heading out with a Canadian band on that.
I wonder which Canadian band.
we will see. We will.
You know, the Quebec people here, they're kind of like, you know, the Brazilians of the North America.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, all you have to do is release one chord. You could just put out a video that is like 5 seconds, and then you just say like, come to Brazil, come to Quebec, come to Brazil, come to Quebec. But it's great.
But we do love Quebec, so it has to happen. And I guess we stop in Toronto as well, I think.
We would love to see that, obviously. But I mean, it's a reality that today metal probably burns the brightest in Quebec. If you look at Canada, from a crowd perspective, a lot of big tours will go to Montreal or Quebec City first and foremost. But we would very much love to have you, and otherwise we just, you know, jump in a car for a short Canadian trip of 6, 7, 8 hours, and be right there.
We're just going out in a boat for a bit there, so it's going to take 5 hours.
when we spoke last, which probably two drunker people have not done an interview together.
But it was a fun interview, though.
It was fun. It was fun. But one thing that you said at that interview was, like one learning for you was that everything is similar yet completely different in North America. Comparing, touring, and you were kind of like in the halfway point of what you were going to do in 2023 in North America. Besides that, it's interesting times cramming 9 people in a van. If there's one thing that you would do different, knowing what you know now, because you kind of became a specialist in North American touring overnight, what would that be?
Divide the tours into sections. I would do East with a bit of Midwest. I would do West and Texas and try to get there's a big chunk in the middle of the country. Like going from Chicago, Indianapolis, St. Louis down to Texas, you can go there. But we drove through Montana on that 30-hour drive I was talking about. No. And it's like...
it's beautiful,
It is, yes. I cannot argue that, but it doesn't... but it's the same kind of beautiful for 30 hours. No, but that's the thing that we learned. It's like, okay, even if we could go over and do 40 shows in 7 weeks, but it's kind of perhaps more be like, we can go over for 3 weeks and focus. No days off or one bad travel day, because it is a big continent. It is, and it's, it is a big continent. So that's basically the main thing we learned. Even though flight tickets and stuff like that is expensive, it is even more expensive having days off with just driving, or shows where 13 people show up and you sell merch, but it's more expensive to have those days than to actually boil it down and focus. But that's a weird thing. Like now we did Western Canada, we played Nelson, 10,000 people in that city, and the venue is packed. And Vancouver, 55 million people. I don't know how many people live there. It's a big city. I don't.
There's 33 million in Canada, so I think Vancouver is about 1.5 million.
Yeah, and we've had now 2 really good shows in Vancouver, but we don't pack out the medium venue there. But that's one thing as well when I say boil it down and perhaps focus the tour. Doesn't necessarily mean always going to the, as you say, the A markets, because that's not necessarily where all the fun is at.
That's funny when you mentioned Montana. About those states, or in Canada, provinces that are beautiful but quite flat and quite open. I know that you're a dog lover, so something that we say about those places is, if your dog runs away, the saddest part is that you have to watch it run away for 3 days.
Yeah, that's very true, because I was thinking a lot about that. It was I could bring Rosie, my old dog, out here.
Yeah.
I could actually take her off leash and she could do her thing for 5 hours. Literally, she doesn't necessarily run in one direction, more like circling, and I could see her all the time. When I go out in the woods here back home, it takes 30 seconds, then I can't see her.
Yeah.
After 10 minutes, I hear her. After 25 minutes, she comes back hey, that was fun. And then I'm gonna put the leash on. No, she's gone again.
I'm very excited about all the fans and all the new fans discovering Screamer with this new release. I think the unspoken word here is maturity in the sound and in the progression. I think that will appeal to a lot of people. Just give it, especially in North America, how let's call it retro-influenced heavy metal, especially coming from Europe these days, which is very interesting.
Yeah.
A lot of Swedish bands play music of an era that they were not born in, but it is definitely gaining a lot of attention, and we saw a lot of cool releases. The Riven's latest album was really cool. Your album is really cool. That's coming out, so that's really exciting to see. And maybe we should just have to build this retro Swedish package for North America and have you guys come over.
That'd be
Exactly.
sick. There's not a lot of bands that dare to do it, but it would be fun.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Well, Henrik, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. It was fun talking to you again, and I can't wait to see you either on those European summer festivals or in North America when you come over again.
Yeah, I will make sure we meet in North America at least.
Good.
Yeah. So much fun talking to you, Jasper. Thank you.
You are awesome for watching this video. Click right here to see more content like it and subscribe to the channel.